Many times in our work world and in life, we will get the answer no. And some people actually shoot for no. That's their sort of plan is they want to get the no because they believe that no is the next step to yes, or that with every no, you get closer and closer to a yes. We're going to talk about that idea, dealing with a no, and is no really the next step to a yes, and more on this episode of Today's Antidote. Actually, episode 821 of Today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for Today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
I've got some bad news for you here, Tom.
Bad news for me?
This is episode 822.
Oh, shoot. I knew that. My mistake. Yes, 822.
I felt like I heard that earlier. 821. It happens. It's all good.
You know.
They run together after a while.
They certainly do. And I forget sometimes when I'm labeling things, which one I'm labeling.
I understand. We all make mistakes. It's all good. So how are you otherwise? We are recording this. I should tell people it's not that Tom and I wear the same outfits every day, although I think you've changed clothes. I've got the same clothes on. We are recording this because Wednesdays we have some conflicts and just makes it work. So you will not be able to have us put your comments on the program today. You can put them in the comments. We will respond to every comment, but it won't be during the program.
Thanks for sharing that disclaimer. And if you're listening to the podcast, you don't know any difference. So just keep listening.
Right, exactly.
All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast. Each day, Bob and I dive a little bit deeper into a conversation of the week. This week's topic is dealing with no. And it's one of the things that we have to understand because we will get no's. And as we go through that conversation, if you have thoughts or ideas you'd like to share, please feel free to share them in the comments because we know that someone may be looking for that. And when they see them, they may be like, wow, I never thought of that or I hadn't considered that or I've never heard it said that way. And it has an impact on you. At the conclusion of that conversation, Bob and I will each dive into and share our one thing. The thing that we hope will help you figure out how to get unstuck, stop being frustrated, uncertain, or lacking confidence around what happens when you get a no. And, is it truly the next step? Yes, maybe. If that's the case, maybe it's okay. We'll see where it takes us. And of course, you have one thing, please feel free to do that as well. It might be just the thing someone else is looking for. Before we get into that conversation, though, each morning, I'm not sure.
You are freezing on us, Tom. What Tom was going to say is that before we get started with each program, we like to celebrate something. The reason we celebrate, because we haven't talked about that in a little while, is it sets the stage. It helps us recognize the things we've done, the steps we've taken, and it positions us to be ready to take the next steps. So this morning, I am celebrating the fact that yesterday, Tuesday afternoon, I got to do some writing. And I don't get to do enough writing. I'm a writer at heart, and I don't get to write very often. And today I got to do some writing, or yesterday, I'm sorry. And I really enjoy the opportunity to write. And I like when Tom lets me do writing. So that's my celebration. You with us, Tom?
I think so.
You are frozen, though.
Frozen, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's garbled a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep talking.
All right.
Hopefully, at least the people on the podcast, they're able to hear it, and people watching can hear it, even though I might be frozen. Man, I hope if I'm frozen this long that my face isn't in some contorted.
You're unfrozen now, but you're fuzzy.
Okay. So my celebration today is, I guess that I had an interesting conversation with a client. We were working on sort of their annual plan, and they provided a draft some information for the draft, and I thought that it was well done. And I think we were able to add some additional things to it so that it's getting closer and closer to a finished product of an annual plan. They're on a July 1 to June 30. So our goal is to have them up and running and ready to go when July 1 hits. So that's
this being a nonprofit that you were working with, correct?
It is. That is correct.
Yeah. So the annual plan is sort of their strategic plan for the next year, right? Or is it a recap of the prior plan? No, that'd be the annual report. Sorry, getting my annual items.
This is their plan for next year.
Looking forward. Annual report is the last year. Gotcha.
Yes. Plan is looking forward. Report is reporting on what happened.
Oh, I so wish we could erase the last minute, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. I want to do it.
You freeze on screen, I freeze mentally.
I'm not sure which is more impactful. All right, so let's
to whom?
Well, true. And let's dive into this conversation. All right, Bob. Everybody's been waiting for 6 minutes. Is no the next step to yes?
Well, that's a complicated question. And we talked about maybe earlier in the week.
Yes.
So now we're talking sort of a different spin on it. And I think in some ways, no is a step towards a yes, because when someone says no, they're being declarative. I'm declaring this is where I am now. When someone says maybe, who knows where they are? They might be thinking they might do it. They might think they might not want to do it. You have no real information. But when someone says no, you have a starting point. They've said this doesn't work for me, whatever this is. So widget X, we'll call it. Widget X isn't going to work for me. Okay, great. So now as I talk to them in the future, if I continue to talk to them, and hint, hint, most people don't buy the first time you talk to them. On average, it takes 7 to 9 interactions with the person to get them to want to buy from you. So that first time they may say no because they're not even thinking that they have a problem. Second time, they might not be saying no because they still don't think they have a problem. Could be a 6th, 7th time. And then suddenly there's a day where they go, wow, this guy keeps bringing this up. I've heard him talk at a networking event. I've heard him talk to other people. I keep hearing he does a great job. Wow, maybe I do have a problem this guy can solve. So all those no's, perfectly rational, not irrational, based on limited information. However, it could lead to a yes, right?
Sure, could.
Do you have a different take?
I have a different take. It's a little different spin on it.
Okay.
I'm going to take this for, if you're trying to deal with a no, that the way to deal with it is not by thinking about is to think about what you learned from it. So often we think about, well, what's the next step with this next person, with a person and if you're of the belief that a maybe means there's a possibility that if they say no, that doesn't always mean that it's forever. Or you're under the belief that if you get a no, you're closer and closer to a yes with them. You may not consider what have you learned. You may be just thinking about what's the next step with that person. I think there's the opportunity that no allows us to go back and ask the 3 questions that we encourage people to ask after any actions. What went well, what didn't go as planned, what might I do differently? And I believe that if you're willing to take that step and understand and learn from the answer that you got, you can also learn from a yes. Although I think that we are so driven by the emotion of a yes that we also forget to do it then. Typically, we are trying to hopefully learn from no's, is that you're learning a little bit more about another response or another reaction to a question that you posed or an offer that you put out there. And the opportunity to learn, I don't necessarily think that means it's going to be closer to a yes with that person. I think, though, that it gives you a chance to refine your message, do something a little differently the next time, and that that one little shift might bring you closer to a yes. with the next person.
So it's the next person, not that person.
Correct. Because you've learned from this experience, and now you're taking that gained knowledge, experience, or perspective and going to start to apply it to the next. Doesn't guarantee a yes by any means. Although I think that the more we take an action, learn from the action, and then apply that in the next action, and that at least when we learn, we're sort of taking the next step. When we stop learning, we just get caught in the emotion, we just get stuck. That there's the opportunity that with the next time, you might get a yes. Because you're approaching it with just a little different spin. Now you're doing that with a different person, and so doesn't guarantee it. I think it just provides you with the opportunity that you refine and refine and refine, and you might understand that, okay, when I'm dealing with people who might be a little bit like the last person who said no, that this approach might not be the way. And so if I approach another person who's similar or has some similarities to that person, I likely am going to have to do it a little bit differently. And there's the opportunity that the results may change.
So I think I have my one thing. I know it's early, but I think I got it.
You've got it already. Wow. All right. Go ahead.
So a no can become a yes if we use the information around that no to better prepare us for future discussions, whether it's with that person or someone else.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I mean, that's what you said. I took what you said and really compressed it.
You stole my one thing.
I got to go first, so I took it. I ran with it.
Fair enough.
You can say mega dittos,
that would not be very renegade of me, even though I would agree. There's a lot of things I agree with that, obviously. I think the point that I'd want to make is that I think we get so wrapped up in the emotion of the no that we don't take time to learn. And I think that could be a theme running throughout the week. And yet I think in this one, there is this belief that if we just keep getting no's, we will eventually get a yes, whether that's from this person or the next. And I think that assuming that that's going to happen just because you're asking another person is probably not a safe assumption. If you are willing to stay out of the emotion of the no and say that the no is providing you with information, and that information is information you can learn from, and you then apply that based on the situation, that I think there is an opportunity for you to get closer to yeses, although it's not guaranteed, because we can only control what we can control. And I think that if we control our ability to control our emotion, focus on, okay, what have I learned from this action? Then we have the opportunity, I think, to get closer and closer to it. Yes, doesn't mean that it's going to come, just means that we have the opportunity, I think, to get closer to that outcome.
I like that. That was good, coming up with two. Well done.
So I really came up with two antidotes today. You reframed.
Yeah, you did. You came up with two. I stole one of them, and it makes it look like we each had one. I can own that.
Fair enough. That's fair.
All right. Yeah, it happens.
And I would offer is that if you are struggling with how to learn from the actions that you take, and the emotion gets you stuck, and many times it's got you considering giving up, that it would be a great opportunity for you to ask Bob and I about our upcoming program, where we are helping people sculpt their renegade pathway and own their day. I think so often our emotions control our day, or outside influences control our day that drive our emotions, and we get nervous, frustrated, scared, worried, and
paralyzed.
And before we know it, we are stuck doing what someone else is dictating us to do, not what we know are the things that are going to help us get there. Let us know, because we're starting a program. We have a program available that's going to help you in the next 90 days figure out how to get there. And right now, you have the opportunity to get it at a special rate because it's a new program for us. So you can save $500 right now by signing up for it. And in addition to that, there's some other little benefits we're going to throw your way. One being that, our goal is to help you over the 90 days. And sometimes we know that it's going to take a little more than that. So the overall program is going to run 17 weeks for you. So you get almost a bonus 5 weeks on the program.
No way. Come on. Are you serious, Tom?
I am. It's on the internet, so it's got to be true.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that meeting. What are you thinking? No.
I made that decision without you. How about that?
No, I'm kidding. I think it's great. That extra 4.5, 5 weeks will make a huge difference.
Yeah, I think it'll help you ramp up for maybe the next coming quarter, or it will, when the quarter is over, you're able to step back and sort of, okay, because maybe it's the learning that you need, and then you can position yourself for the next quarter. So if you have questions or information about that, please just reach out to Bob or I, or type Sculpt in the chat, and we can share some information with you, and we can even identify what Sculpt means. We can share that detail with you as well. All right. Also
do that a couple of days ago. I couldn't, but now I can.
If you'd gone to the webpage, you could have.
If I gone to the webpage, can I tell them the story?
It's up to you.
I think I will. We've got a couple minutes. So Tom and I came up with Sculpt a while ago, and we wrote it down, what each letter goes to, and we couldn't find it. And looked around. And today, Tom realized that it was on the website right in front of our eyes. So,
yeah. How long has that been driving you crazy, Bob?
Couple days, maybe a week.
Fair enough. All right, everyone. If you have one thing that you would like to share, your antidote, please feel free to share it as well. If you have a crazy story where you knew you had something somewhere, didn't know where it was, and then you found it
in a place that's publicly available.
Right. Please feel free to share that as well. What the heck? It might add value to someone else who might be searching for something, can't find it, and they're like, wait a minute. I know where I might have put that. I might have put that on my website. That would make sense.
It's even funnier when you say it that way.
Yeah. Anyhow, if you're listening to the podcast and there's no place to comment, you can feel free to join us inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share your idea there. You can also send Bob and I a message there that says, hey, I'm interested in this program. I'd like to learn a little bit more. You can also post your thoughts and ideas and gain from the thoughts and ideas posted by others. So we look forward to seeing you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. If not, we will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.-ish Eastern time for our next episode of Today's Antidote.
Hey, whatever you do, embrace the renegading you on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, I think so. I was debating whether I was going to say that. Sometimes
you thought it's not worth it?
No, it's always worth it. I just want people to hear it differently some days. And go, oh, he didn't say it's worth it. I wonder if it's worth it. Oh, yes, it is worth it.
Okay. Some reverse psychology on people, I guess.
And that's exactly it.
All right, everybody, go out and enjoy your day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.